Welcome back to the official Atari Games podcast. This is Jason here, joined by a trio of lovely guests. We have Daniel Grayshon from Nightdive, project manager and director on System Shock 2, the 25th anniversary remaster. Daniel, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well on this Friday.
Good.
Recording about a week before you guys see this. And I'm not going to say System Shock 2, the 25th anniversary remastered every single time I say this. That will just be a nightmare. So for henceforth, when I say System Shock 2, I am not talking about the original release. I am talking about the remaster, unless we say otherwise. Now, also joining us is Jonatan Pöljö, creative director on System Shock 2.
Yeah,
Welcome,
that's
Jonatan.
me.
How you doing?
Hello, doing good.
That's great. Thank you for joining. And lastly, but not leastly, returning triumphantly. I don't even know if he won. Did you win the game last time?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Wow. Glad you remembered. Is Josh Dowell, programmer on System Shock 2. Welcome back, Josh.
Hey. Yep, I'm just melting in my room here.
Yeah,
It's hot Friday.
There is the heat is real. The heat is on.
Yes, it is extraordinarily hot in the UK right now. So bear with us.
Yeah, the heat wave just passed by us. If you're a video watcher and you're like, "Hey, Jason, why are you in your room?" Because the air conditioning in the Atari office is broken. So there you go. It's been broken all week. I learned that when I went into the office on Monday after coming back from vacation. Hey, welcome. Air conditioning's broken. Oh my God. It's 90 degrees. Feels like 100. It's great. But enough about that. We're not here to talk about the heat. We're here to talk about System Shock 2. But before that, got a little bit of housekeeping here. First of all, review the podcast. If you're listening to this, you probably like it. And if you're here for the first time, you're going to like it. And when you do, return the favor and go to your favorite podcast service of choice, iTunes, Spotify, etc. Give us a nice review or a mean review. You can just, as long as it's 5 stars, 5 stars, and say some mean things. I don't care. Do your thing. Join the Atari Discord. Join the Nightdive Discord. Join the community. Share the love for all the work these guys do. Atari is streaming now. Now, right before this, I was going to get the link to do this, but I didn't. So follow us on social channels. Those links are all below. I'll drop a link to the Twitch channel as well, so you could see Atari streaming. I think we'll be doing that on a weekly basis. I should have been more prepared. Also, System Shock 2, 25th anniversary remastered. I lied. I've said it one more time. It's available now. All the links to purchase are below, so check that out on your system of
It's really
choice.
cool.
It is really cool. I've been playing it. I've gotten my rude awakening. I'm getting my 90s sea legs back in a wow. Wow. Well, you'll see that firsthand because we're going to play the game. We're going to talk about it. Also, I forgot to, speaking of podcasts, if you're not already subscribed or aware, definitely check out the Nightdive Deep Dive podcast. They recently just had Ken Levine. I didn't ask you, Ken Levine, because I went for the All-Stars instead. Ha! Take that, Ken. Big fan, by the way. What are we doing? We're here. We're going to play. We're going to jump right in. If you're not on YouTube, go check that out. If you're listening, hey, that's cool too. We're going to talk constantly, fill the dead air. But for now, let's jump in. We're going to start a new game of System Shock 2 as I learn more about this fine remaster that continues the trend of great Nightdive remasters. So, fellas, first and foremost, I think it's got to be made clear that this is not a remake like System Shock 1 remake was. That was, I believe, built from the ground up. This is a remaster. So tell us the difference. Let's start there. What should people expect going into this?
Difference.
We've gone through and really looked at what we can do to System Shock 2 to bring it to a modern audience, and that includes the ability to be able to play it on console for the first time. It was a huge undertaking. There was a lot of planning, a lot of talks involved with how are we going to get such a PC-focused game to operate on consoles, and it wasn't easy. There was a lot of things we had to consider, considering how complicated and complex the UI is, and how much you can do with that interface, because that's what these games were kind of really about. System Shock 1 in 94 and Shock 2 in 99, it was very much the time of the PC interface. You have that mouse, so let's use it. Let's do all sorts of really cool stuff with it. It's like researching and being able to, loot bodies and loot crates individually and fiddle with your interface, reorganize your inventory. If you like a little bit of inventory Tetris in your day, then this is the game for you, I think. So all that fun stuff, and we were definitely just thinking to ourselves, how are we going to make this work on console? And we spent a lot of time looking through it. But I think we came out in the end with something that was a very good rendition. I think if they were to do it back in the day, they would have potentially done something like this. But I think we've come out on top here with the best thing that we can.
Yeah. What is each of yours history with System Shock 2, and what was it like even prior to working on the game?
Oh, for me personally, I found the game around 2004. This was around the time when I was really looking at PC games to find some more interesting things out there, because there was a lot of shooters out there at the time, and I was just thinking to myself, there's got to be something out there that's a bit different. And I first found a game called Thief 3, Thief Deadly Shadows.
Sure.
And that was a very good game. I remember going through that, and I was enjoying it so much. I was like, wow, okay, this is a really solid game. And I kind of worked my way backwards then. So I found Thief 2 and then Thief the Dark Projects. And I learned all about Looking Glass Studios as a company. And then I was also looking into what else they'd done. And I know they'd done flight simulators and things like that as well, but they'd also come out with this game called System Shock 2. And I thought, oh, that sounds quite interesting. Let's have a look at this game and see what it's like. And it took me a while to get into it, but the more I dived into it, the more I found something that I just absolutely loved. And I found myself going back and playing it every maybe once a year, once every 2 years, because I just enjoyed it that much.
Wow.
And sorry,
System Shock 2 is basically like your Deus Ex.
Yeah. Oh goodness me, don't get me started on Deus Ex. But yes, Shock 2, very much, just something that I absolutely loved and never got tired of playing, just because of the atmosphere, the way it tells its story, the way the ship kind of lays itself out before you was almost like a character in and of itself, I felt. And so I was just so engrossed in this universe. And then it got to about 2012. I just graduated from university, and then System Shock 2 came out on Steam. And I was suspecting it was going to appear on Steam because I saw some workings in the background, and I was ready. I had written a guide on how to mod the game, and I was absolutely dead set on getting that guide on Steam as soon as the game came out. And I think within the hour of the game coming out, I had my guide on how to mod the game published, and people absolutely loved it. They turned around and said, because of your guide, I bought this game, and it was a big selling point, I think. And then about a couple of weeks later, I got approached by some random guy called Stephen Kick, and I was like, who's this guy? I've no idea who this guy is, but he was like, hey, I'm the owner of the Shock 2 IP, and how would you like to come and do some work for me? I really like the guys that you've written. I think we could work well together, so I'll bring you on for a month and see how it works out. And that was about 12 years ago at this point. So that's been my history, really. And then I got the opportunity to come on board to the Shock 2 team. I just wrapped up working on the System Shock remake project, and I came back, and one of my immediate tasks on coming back to that specific team was, okay, we need to ramp up on the Shock 2 Remastered project. Because we've had one person working at it for quite a long time. He'd been reverse engineering the code, and he'd done an outstanding job, but it was very clear that he needed some additional support. So it was down to me to assemble a team, a crack team of enthusiasts who were very passionate about the game. And we got a plan together. We worked out what to do. It took a fair bit of time and a lot of effort, but I think we came out in the end with something that I think people will really, really enjoy, especially if you are curious about games such as Prey 2017, Bioshock, Deus Ex. If you look at those kinds of games and you kind of want to see almost the start of where it all was, System Shock was obviously System Shock 1 was the start of all of that, but System Shock 2 is really the next step up and the most accessible game, at least at the time, before we went ahead and remastered all of those games. So I think we've come out with something special, and we, as a team, we're all very proud of what we've been able to achieve.
Awesome. I'm gonna keep going down the list about history with the game, but first I want to know. So this is very cool. So you kind of choose your initial stats almost. This is almost like your character customization right at the beginning without actually saying, choose your stats. Like to draw up corollary to Deus Ex, right? Deus Ex, you have your menu, and then it's just like, put all your points into swimming. Obviously, we all did that. That makes no sense. And but this is just a really cool system. So which path do you guys go? And which should I go for the purpose?
This is a really fun one because over the years, it just became second nature. I pick Navy, I go left, right, left.
Let's do that.
And I don't even remember what it does, but I think it's like hack.
I got +1 hack.
Weapons and then something else.
Oh, honestly,
it's like a classic.
Left, right, left. All right. So Jonatan,
the first time I played, I spent forever just agonizing over which thing to take.
Yeah. And what did you end up doing? Just turning it off?
I don't even remember. I spent like half an hour picking the right things I thought would be best. I didn't even play the game.
Yeah. It's cool though. I
so
like this system.
Funny.
Yeah.
I still
Jonatan,
remember this.
What's your background with System Shock 2?
Okay, my background. Like I think I was 15. I got this game. I played it so much. I even did the multiplayer back in the days, which
cool.
I don't think worked all the time, but
multiplayer not working in the 90s? No way.
But I mean, it did become like one of my favorite games. Like I just come back to it all the time because it was this first. It's a shooter, but it's also an RPG. Like it just mixed those things like nothing did before. But yeah, after that, I think time passed. Like I started my whole career in game development. A bit earlier than that, I did some modding of System Shock 2. I made some models. I didn't get much deeper into it, but way later, way later, and that was like 4 years ago. Once again, Steven pops up and he says, I'm looking at some like community mods and stuff. Can I use some of your stuff? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I think he got an idea. What if you do some new anime models? And that's how it started. So it started very simple. Like 4 years ago, I'm just going to do some anime models for System Shock 2. And then suddenly I end up like hopping over to other projects. I think it was Quake 2, a lot of those, just while I'm working on this. And Shock 2 just grows and grows. It started as just a few simple models. And then later on just grew and grew. We had the weapons. We did all the UI in-game, just made in high resolution. We suddenly had a few more artists. We had an animator, and the scope grew a lot, like from what it was originally going to be. So it would have been very simple in the beginning, just some new anime models, some community mods, and then.
All right, we had a little bit of a technical hiccup there, so hopefully we didn't really lose much. That's good. So if you're wondering, hey, there's a break, and hey, Jonatan's wearing a jacket now, and you're on YouTube. Well, that's why. That's what happened. So yeah, Jonatan was talking about kind of how he ended up into it, and the game started off with being pretty simple, then expanding with scope. As opposed to going with simple character mods, right? I think that's what it was, like updating some models, and then
just
it became a
updating
lot more
the enemy models. Yeah, and just because that was the start. Just making a few. And I think that was the biggest thing of the community. There was no good enemy model modder, so to say. There wasn't anything that sort of worked or looked really good or was the whole deal. So I jumped in. I started doing like just all the enemies, all the characters, everything. Got those done. But again, it grew. We suddenly had more things we wanted to do. We started with objects in the world, and then at some point, I think I found the scripting language, and I started dealing with more than just the graphics. I did some experiments. I figured out how to actually get the weapons moving around. We could have animations and stuff, and from there on, I just experimented and did more of those kind of things, more experiments, and basically, I was responsible for sort of the part of the game, the visual part, sort of like the visual improvements and all that. That was like on my table, and then the rest of the team had, in my opinion, the way more difficult work, just making Dark Engine up to date, or fixing multiplayer, or doing all the UI work, which was a ton of it. But for me, it was just everything in game, all the models and the graphics and sort of the new improvements on animations. That was sort of what I ended up doing for longer than we thought. And that was 4 years ago. I jumped between some different projects here and there. I ended up becoming art director in the progress of still working on System Shock 2. But then finally now we got to the point where we had something even better than we expected, and suddenly we had all these people joining the team, and Daniel suddenly taking, how do you say, control of the boat. That was sort of just there was no how do you say, leadership in the team. It was just me and a programmer for 4 years, so that really helped getting everything organized and having all the new people joining and the new artists. And
if you're
It's very
watching,
nice of you to
really
say.
good.
Thank you. I did my best.
if you're
and you all were
watching,
great too.
if you're watching the YouTube and you're like, why did Jason spend so much time in that vent? I really just wanted to say that there's something comfortable about an oversized vent in an immersive sim. Like, can we all agree on this?
Yeah, the vents, they're
Oh,
important.
definitely.
Yeah, like they're huge. That's great. It's like, oh, where's this vent gonna go? Oh, I don't even know. There's no map. There actually
I
is.
can't
a map
remember
here.
if you
There's
can
a mini
crawl
map.
in them though. You can't enter the vents in System Shock 2, right? Maybe
I just
in some
did.
cases. Oh, you did?
Well, no, I
Special
did. There was just a very specific vent.
Oh yeah, that's the intro vent. How could I forget that? I never saw it.
But
as a
I
vent.
was tricked because I'll be honest, I never played the original System Shock 2, which is crazy because I really should have. It's probably one of my biggest gaming sins is that I haven't played the original. Is that I haven't played System Shock 2, but I was such a huge Deus Ex fan. So as I'm playing this one, the remaster, and I see an oversized vent, I said, "Ooh, how do I get into that vent? I need to know." And then to your point, I realized I don't think I can. I don't think I'm supposed to be there. But I'm so trained when I'm playing an immersive sim to go into every vent possible. So yeah. Josh, how about yourself? What's your background with the what's your background with System Shock 2 and the franchise before you joined Nightdive? Or before you start working on this?
Nearly as interesting as everyone else. I sort of just, oddly enough, I started out with this game just by digging into how it worked, into the game engine itself. It wasn't actually until 2022 that I actually played the game from start to finish. Back in 2016, I went into the level editor and I started messing around with all the like placing objects, making levels, digging into the game files. I think back then I was just too scared to play the game. It took me until way later to build up the courage to actually play it, and I played it after I played Deus Ex, and it's really tough figuring out whether this is my favorite game or second favorite game compared to Deus Ex. It's so good. It's crazy. It's Yeah, I fell in love with this game when I played it the first time, and you see, my the way I got involved with the project is, it honestly, the place I was working at in 2023 was hit by hard times, and we had to close the studio. And out of the blue, I just asked a friend, like, "Oh, where should I look for work?" And they said, "Oh, why don't you apply to Nightdive?" I went, "Oh, that's a good idea." And then I applied. I spoke to Stephen Kick, and he said, "Oh, how would you like to work on the System Shock 2 remaster?" I went, "That's really good. That's a really good idea. I should work on that." And then I did.
You're like, will you pay me? And then he said, yes, that's the job. And you said, okay, this sounds
He
like
said,
a good idea. I will do that for money.
He said, "What's cooler than getting paid to work on something you really want to work on?" And I went, "Really good point. Really good point."
Really true. Oh man, that is the truth.
Yeah, this project's been great to work on. It's such a weird game engine.
What do you mean by that? Can we talk about that for a minute? Like, I got the guys who would actually be able to talk to that more than anybody else. So yeah, let's.
Yeah, we can talk about this for ages.
Like, because you've worked on more than just this one. So what? Yeah, let's talk about that and any, like, how that compares to other engines that you've worked on at Nightdive.
So the Quake engine is one that I've worked on not just at Nightdive, but just before I joined Nightdive. Quake 1 and Quake 2 are really streamlined engines. They're basically made for the game. They're simple, they're extendable, readable code. You can spend like a couple weeks looking at it and you can understand how it works. With this game engine, it started development around the same time that Quake came out, and they riffed off a lot of what Quake did. And they somehow made something so... Oh... Just got blown up.
Oh
no!
Oh no!
Oh
yeah!
That's
look at you, hacker.
Well, you've got you do have an autosave, so you can.
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect.
There you go.
Oh, thank God! Look at that.
I got good time saved. You know where to go now, though. But this game engine is really, really, really ahead of its time. It was doing stuff like entity component systems before Unity did them years later. So the thing that sets this engine apart from other game engines at the time was these old game engines were basically an object in the game, like the player, the enemies, that sort of thing, were all specially scripted and the code was written specially for them. But with this game engine, all of the enemies, all the weapons, everything is data-driven, which means the designer comes in from the outside and designs everything rather than a programmer going in. The programmers in this engine are responsible for writing components that you can fit together to make all the game logic like that. Well, I was going to say stuff like that keypad. That keypad is entirely in the game code, but
45100, right? So
the classic code, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really ahead of its time.
Giant fan. Here we go.
Also, it's really badly over-engineered. Like they had a lot of people.
They don't do that anymore these days, right? Nobody over-engineers things anymore, right?
Have you seen Unreal?
It's a thing of the past. Nobody does it.
Yeah,
everybody's learned the lessons of the past. That's all.
There's a lot of spaghetti in there.
That's why games come
There's
out.
a lot of when you look at the game stuff and how they did things and how the designers did things. A lot of the things were like put together on the fly and not really thought through. So you do have a lot of amazing systems that are driven by the components of each object, but then how they're put together is very sloppy sometimes, but it sort of works. But it is a really amazing engine. Like the things I've done has been because it's there's no set behavior to things, so I could just deal with it like the engine is supposed to. So I could just make new behaviors, and suddenly I was doing things that I don't think they were thinking about when they made this game in this engine. Like, there was no thought around animating weapons the way I did, but because the engine allows it, I could do this.
Yeah, the way the weapons are done is... I think you'd be best to explain it, Jonatan. It's the weapons are done in the UI update loop. when the user interface updates, that's what updates the weapons on the screen.
I mean, everything. Yeah, I found a way to just, how do you say, find a hook, get an update that happens every frame, and I found it via the overlay, the UI system, and it never caused too many problems. So we never made a proper solution to this. But yeah, basically, I'm doing things which was normally in the C++ side, like systems that do things, especially for the weapon. But then I was like, I'll hide the original weapon, so it still exists there. And then I create a new model, especially for the gun. And then I can decide how it should move and what should happen. And I can spawn effects whenever I want, because it's all in scripts. It's all in code now.
Yeah, I don't think this engine was potentially built to be something you would put a shooter in. I think it was good of them to get a shooting system in there at all. I mean, Shock 2 does have shooting in, but it has a good mix of RPG elements and horror elements as well. So it is kind of a big deal when we say we have reloading animations in the game, because the Dark Engine just kind of wasn't built with that kind of thing in mind. The first game that used this engine was Thief, the Dart project.
Yeah.
And the most complicated thing I think you do in that game from a weapon perspective is fire a bow. So there's not really much reloading to do with that. So the team, they just kind of had to look at the tools they had and go, oh my goodness, we need to make a shooter out of this. And I think, obviously they did a really good job. But I don't think it could have been easy.
Yeah, oh, absolutely not. And they have this skeletal animation, and they have static models, and the animation system, it's very complex, it's very predefined. They use a lot of motion capture stuff and have pre-built skeletons, so just putting a new weapon with a rig to animate it is not something we could do.
Whoa, don't overwrite your save. You nearly overwrited your save.
No, you're right.
I
hit the wrong button. See, this is what happens when I'm trying to multitask here. All right, good call.
Apologize.
Don't need to do that again.
But yeah, my funniest thing is always like someone asking, could you do this in, how do you say, System Shock 2 as it is now, like with the script and everything? And I can usually answer like, yeah, that would be possible. I think someone asked like, could you make a new inventory system, new UI for that? And I'm like, yeah, sure. But I think my always the thing in the back of my head is taking that vehicle on the earth level and make it drivable.
So what are some of the some of the main improvements and things that people should be on the look? I mean, obviously you talked about models, character models, that kind of stuff, but is it like, because I think one of the things you guys do so well, and that's kind of the philosophy, we talk about all the time, which is, making the games as you remember them, making them play as you remember them. But if you were to put them side by side, there's a lot of pretty stark differences, right? You point to some of those?
One of the first ones was the main menu. We completely redid the main menu with much sharper assets now. I think it's one of the most advanced menu systems we've done thus far in one of our remasters. There's a lot of moving parts to it, and it was a real hefty amount of work for the team to take on board. But we've really stepped up, I think, in that aspect. And I think the first screen you look at when you start the game it's all been rebuilt, and it all looks really, really nice. I think that was one of the bigger accomplishments there, just learning that tech, and it's tech we can use for future projects as well, which is fantastic stuff. Just using what you have to the best of your advantage there, and when you get into the game, just the overall, the look, the sharpness of the textures, the quality of everything is that real next level up. If you have side by side comparisons, you'll see the original, how blurry it was, and the models as well. I think I read somewhere that the original models in the game were not enemy models. Were not allowed to be over 100 polygons, which when you think about that today is absolutely insane. How can you have an enemy that's under 100 polygons? Like that's crazy. But Jonatan, I think you might be able to maybe say how many polygons do you recommend? Do you reckon is in a standard pipe mutant?
It's a little funny. What can it be like? A bit over 1,000 triangles. But the thing is, I think back in the day, they had Dark Engine. It started as a software render, I think. So they were very careful with the amount of vertices per model, and they sort of kept that that spec level for System Shock 2. And in the end, they sort of noticed actually we undershoot it. Like we have a lot of like leeway. They basically made them too low poly than what they could have done. So. Looking at games from that time, like they will look a bit more detailed, and it was because they basically aimed a bit too low, and then they got hardware accelerators. But we never went too crazy with these models. We kept them sort of to fit in with the rest of the environment, not too detailed. But some things we did, if you could look at them, they have a bit of rim light. They have some specular surface, especially if you look at one of the hybrids.
Look here, make sure I got all my max FPS.
Everything is there.
All the fancy stuff turned on.
Oh, good stuff. Well, point me in the direction of a thing to look at.
Yeah, like this one. You
should look at the alarm panel and turn the alarm off.
Hey man, first of all, if you don't know how I actually record this thing, I don't have the audio running on the game, so I could largely focus on the conversation. And as a result, I can't hear anything that's happening in the game. Now, that doesn't mean audio is being recorded, but that's why I'm at a substantial disadvantage. So if you're wondering, hey, why is he not realizing that there's a guy behind him until they start swinging at him? Well, there's your answer.
You can't hear them running up behind you screaming, "You're alone!" and bashing you on the head with a pipe. Yeah.
Exactly. I just know I'm alone.
There's a gun you can pick up there, so you can take a look at that.
Right here. What's that?
In the other room with the Xerxes computer.
I will say you now have the quantum bioreconstruction device enabled, so you won't have to load your save anymore. You will respawn.
Yeah, right. I was looking for that earlier, so I was like, I don't think I said it out loud, but when I was in, but in my mind, I definitely said, "Oh, thank God." Yeah, it's good stuff. It's very much. See, I was a BioShock guy. Oh wait, help me find the gun. So where's the gun? Because I picked up a gun already.
Go back to the room with the Xerxes computer.
Yeah, I would say turn to your right and go through the bulkhead door.
I mean, I already the gun, right?
I got it.
Yeah. So equip it. You can take a peek.
Shoot the baddies.
I'm just gonna set that to my quick equip. There we go. Here we go.
Oh, there we go. Animations. And there's a bit of, there's a bit of sway. There's a bit of motion when you turn the camera around. So we sort of follow the camera like a bit. Whoop, whoop. And when you look up and down, it sort of points forward, points backwards. So there's a lot of, just procedural stuff in code to move the gun.
That had nothing to do with the audio. That's just because I'm
distracted. So
but I want to save the ammo because I need it for reasons to destroy these. There's got to be a better way, but the way I'm planning is the stupid turrets. Those are nightmares.
Yeah, the great thing is if an enemy has their back turned to you, you are fully able to sneak up on them and whack them on the head because the game has a built-in stealth system to it. So this goes back to a previous thing that I mentioned where the game was built. The engine, was built first of all for Thief, the Dart Project, which was a stealth game, and they kept that mechanic of stealth in Shock 2. So when you hide in shadows, the enemy literally cannot see you. So you can watch enemies go by, and then you can plan an attack where you go and bonk them on the head.
They are really looking at the enemies in that. The data encode and stuff like that. They are set up like any enemy in Thief, for example. So they have different stages of how aware they are, like when they're looking for you. Things like that. Then they have like levels of hearing, levels of vision, stuff like this. So there is a whole stealth component there, but it's not put in front. There's no lighted gem, so to say, but it's there. It's working.
Yeah, we found some assets in some game files where you can hear one of the developers saying at level 0, at level 1, at level 1, investigating, at level 2, and that's all to tell the programmers how angry they are or how curious they are, so they might start investigating for you. And there's also other lines in there like found body nearby friends, which means they found one of their comrades has fallen over and they know that there is help nearby, so they will call out a specific dialogue line, and those enemies will then react to that line being said, and then they will become suspicious. And there's a whole system built into that's very interesting.
That's awesome. Things that always impress me about immersive sims are the layers and freedom of things that can be done without breaking the game, right? So to be exposed, I'm assuming that's like part of what you're talking about here, which is all those systems working in parallel.
Yeah, there's a whole thing they coined some terms. They have a act and react system. They have basically take a bullet, for example. It has a certain what do you call it? It has a thing. It affects whatever it hits, and then the thing it hits can have a reaction to this. So it can be like, physical damage or poison damage or whatever, and then the thing it hits will have a reaction to this. So there's a lot of immersive behavior that can come out from this, and it's really interesting.
So this part here, what the hell am I supposed to do here? Because I was banging my head against a wall.
Hack
so you need to. Can I see your inventory real quick? You should have a battery, and yes, so you've charged the batteries. So what you need to do now is.
I'm dead. Well, that was my little shortcut to get to the this part, because I know where to go now, but I'm specifically talking about that ramp that goes down and up, which is what's the deal with that? Like,
it's just got a turret on that side. There's you could hack the turret if your hack level was high enough, but nope, there's just a turret there.
I think they put it there just to teach the player about turrets. It's like the first encounter.
Yes.
Okay. But then you can't get armored. Maybe there's armor piercing bullets on the other side or something. I guess if you don't have a hack.
Yeah.
Because there's the optional way of doing things. Anyway, we're in the next area. We're moving along. It's interesting. I want to ask a question, kind of just to get a little insight as I'm talking to people who are really in the weeds. I think a lot of there's discussions now in games, and not necessarily among developers, sometimes among developers, also in the public. It's like, how come we don't get, like, you got a Mass Effect trilogy over the course of 4 years, right? You get like 5 Halo games in a generation. I mean, the time between Deus Ex between Deus Ex and Invisible War and the original was like about 3 years time, which is like light speed. What do you think it was about games back then like this that were able to be developed faster than games today? Because it seems like that is a common occurrence, which is, I don't know how long this game took to develop, but it seemingly would be faster if you were to build this game from scratch now. It would take longer to build this game now than it would back in the day. Why?
It's like 1 year, I think.
We actually have some. So we were recipients of a build of System Shock 2 that was dated May 20th, 1999. And there were enough old assets that hadn't been deleted yet on that disk to determine, just by looking at timestamps and things like that, that this game had possibly been in development since February 1997.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's an eternity back in the day, right?
Yeah, and this game, it then came out August 11th, 1999, so at least possibly 2 years making it, and possibly 6 months maybe planning it. So and we've been able to see quite a bit into the development history and just what could have been before they kind of streamlined a lot of things. But I think games today are just so much more visibly striking. You know, this game is it looks great, but it is a very contained thing. It is a space. It is a spaceship with a very sort of uniformed look in a lot of places, and there are a good number of reused assets. I think one of the clever aspects of Looking Glass was how they were very clever in reusing assets. There are a lot of sounds that if you listen very, very carefully, and I was kind of cursed with this, I can identify stock sound effects a mile away. In anything that you show at me, I'll be like, oh, that's the door sound effect from Doom, and it's being used in this film. Yeah, it's just a horrible curse that I have. But if you do listen very carefully, you can hear a lot of sound effects that were repurposed from Thief, and sometimes even Terra Nova, which was another Looking Glass game, and you can hear them in System Shock 2. They will be either, possibly sound pitched in a different way, or something will have happened to them that makes them sound slightly different, but they were very clever about using that. And I believe, from what we've been able to also find just through our own research, they were very clever at using stock sound effects as well, being able to modify those and use them in a way that is not immediately identifiable as being a stock sound effect. So I think they had the edge with that there, but a lot of it really does come down to the reuse of the tech, I think. A lot of developers back then, they had their own custom engines. You could make an engine and you can have it do whatever you want, really, because it's your engine, you designed it, you know the code for it. And but if you have a lot of very smart people looking at the technology that they can create and adapt it to whatever they need, I think turnaround time for those kinds of games could be relatively quite quick. I mean, I'm only kind of speaking from a third person here. I wasn't around back then to really witness these games being made, but that's one of the avenues of thinking that I can go down personally.
There was a lot of crunch back then as well. No doubt about that.
Yes, you do hear stories even back then of, we slept in the office, we slept under our desks, we worked 18 hours a day, and it was definitely a thing back then. But they a lot of them seemed relatively happy to be able to do that, to put out a game that they thought would be truly spectacular.
Yeah, I think looking at the assets, for example, we have a slightly higher target. We can say like maybe instead of 99, it's like 2009 target.
Yeah,
2005, somewhere there. And it's like it takes more work, but we were still like the art team. It was mostly me for I think 2 years. Then later on, and talking just about the models and stuff, we had usually just one extra artist, and at some point we had 3. So it was an extremely, like, for the remaster, it was a small art team, but for 4 years. And I can imagine, just looking back in the day, they had a bit more artists, and also the visual target, it wasn't as high end. So it's possible, reusing textures and stuff, they could do a lot of things. They didn't have as good tools as we have these days. Like, I mean, we use Blender. It's really good these days. Not as bad as it was in the beginning. I was there. But nowadays, it's so fast to make things compared to then. But it's all about, like, if you're an indie developer and you're making, and there's a lot of cool games like this that just target this old visual style, then suddenly you can be 1 or 2 people making a game in that time span, like they did back then. Just because you target a lower spec things, so you can make things fast. And compared to modern game development, we could get done like a character model. We can make it in like just a few days, while it would take, I think, a month or more just making one enemy or something in a modern game. So we still get to play around a bit with the feeling of like, how was it making games back then? Like, you didn't need as big of a team. You could focus things more, and you could use all those kind of tricks.
Yeah. yeah, it's interesting the expectations and how that changes things and raises the bar. It's like why does it's like if anybody who is if there's consumers asking why is this game taking so long, it's like because that's what you want. Like, you
Exactly.
got to
If we
turn
would
the
have, yeah,
table.
if we would have gotten out earlier, we would not have had this look. We expanded the scope because there was a lot of technical stuff that had to be done. So we just kept adding more visual things to go with everything we had to do with the engine. So it was a big win for how do you say the player, I think.
Yeah. Also, I am like pretty lost. I'm pretty terrible, but I think I'm about the point here where you should stop with the recording here. Is there anything that you want to bring up about the game? Because we're gonna podcast isn't over. I am going to, of course, subject these guys to play a stupid trivia game. But before that, I just want to know: is there anything else that you want people to know about the game? That either whether or not they've played System Shock 2 before, if they haven't played System Shock 1, if they want to revisit, like what should people know about the game, or what's something that only you guys would know that you want the world to know?
Oh, do I want them to know? That's a good question.
I would say if
all right, tell them something that they don't want to know. I don't know. That's fine too.
There's a hidden big head mode actually.
Oh, hell yeah!
I would say, yeah, if you
tell
are
them how to get it or no.
If you do like immersive sims and you are really interested in the history of where it all started, I mean, immersive sims are quite rare, but you usually tend to hear nothing but good things about them when they do come out. And just looking back at the sort of the groundwork that was laid for potentially a lot of people's favorite games that they might not know that have been inspired by this game. So yeah, if you are a fan of BioShock, if you're a fan of a lot of the games of this style, a lot of people will turn around and say, "Oh, this game inspired me to make this," and that story can really spread throughout a lot of games. So with Shock 2, obviously there's Prey 2017. If you look Prey 2017, you probably like this one as well. Just seeing the root of where everything began can be very interesting.
Yeah, truly. Like, look at every game out there now. Like, every game has some kind of RPG mechanic. Like, you look at any game and they will have like, oh, you can upgrade your skills or do more damage or stuff like that. There's always some experience. And it sort of started here. Like, it was a game that was like, let's put stats and items and stuff in a shooter. And then suddenly everyone started doing this, and they still do it.
Yeah, if you know of a game that has 0451 in there, you can be pretty confident that they were inspired by either System Shock 1 or System Shock 2, because 451 was the obviously a reference to Fahrenheit 451, but it was also the code to get into the Looking Glass Studios office back in the day. So if you know of a game that uses 0451 somewhere, that's usually a very deliberate choice to sort of point out that, hey, this is a shock-like, so to speak.
Very cool. Well, thanks a lot for that. Let's stop I'm going to stop right there. I feel like I've made some progress here. That wasn't too terrible.
Yeah, that's
at
good
least when it comes
progress.
to my own ability. So there you go. Don't use this as a walkthrough. There are better guides for that I may or may not have consulted prior to this. Now, fellas, let's play a game. Your game is good. This game is worse. So we are going to play. At this point, I think the title I've just called is just the Moby Score game, because if you're familiar with Moby Games, mobygames.com, that applies a score to every game. And oftentimes I will find a series of games, and you will basically go around and take turns guessing which of a certain criteria has the highest score. Now, if you're wondering what the Moby score is, don't worry. I'm always happy to explain it. The Moby score is a Bayesian average of critic and player ratings. You can use the Moby score to get an idea of how others feel about the game. That's what it says on the website, mobygames.com. Is everybody clear on what the Moby score is? Because if you're still not clear, I could explain what Bayesian means.
I might need an explanation myself.
All right, you got it. Don't worry. Taken from Wikipedia, the Bayesian interface is a method of statistical inference in which Bayes' theorem is used to calculate a probability of hypothesis given prior evidence and update it as more information becomes available. So now we're clear. Everybody knows what the Bayesian inference is. Everyone knows what the Moby score is. Higher is better.
I have not seen a crystal more clearer than that.
Wonderful.
Science.
So now the criteria for today's game is games where Ken Levine is credited. Ken Levine, of course, was the lead designer of System Shock 2. So therefore, and he has scored on Moby games. There are 28 credits attributed to Ken Levine, and I have ordered them from best to worst. This is interesting. One of them is the same, but based on how the chips fell, I'm going to go with however they decided to list them. So if scores are identical, amen. That's just how the ranking works. You will only receive points for the top 10 games in the list. That means that if it's number 1, you get 10. If it's number 2, you get 9. If it's number 3, you get 8, etc., etc. But I have everything here, so even if it's on the list and you don't get points, you will still know that the game exists, at least, right? So that's cool. Although there's some really weird stuff that I have no idea if you guys would ever get it. By the way, this could be any game he is credited for any reason whatsoever. One of these is kind of hilarious. So with that, we go alphabetical by first name. And for some reason, I wrote the same name twice. So we will fix that. So that means, Daniel, you go first. What is your first guess on what would be the highest Moby score for a Ken Levine game?
Highest Moby score for a Ken Levine game. I am going to say BioShock.
BioShock is the number 1 game on the list. That's 10 points, coming out strong.
Nice.
Now, do you want to guess what the Moby score is? I will tell you, because that will basically set the tone of what we're dealing with here, which is crazy.
Is it a percentage or a decimal?
It is 1 decimal point out of 10.
I'm going to guess 9.
It is an 8.7.
Ooh,
which is really weird. But hey, that's the Bayesian inference at work.
Right.
Jonatan, what's your guess? We'll do 3 rounds.
I mean, guess, because it's one of the top 10.
Yep.
And BioShock was already in there. Good question. He did... was he ever on Thief? I have no idea.
Which one?
No, I'm gonna guess.
I need exact titles, by the way.
Thief 2.
Was there a subtitle? I guess. Well, look, it's not on the list, so.
The metal.
But no! Don't guess again. That's it. That's your guess.
No, that's the same one. That's Thief 2.
That's Thief 2: The Metal Age.
Right.
Metal Age.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Then no, that's not here.
No.
All right, Josh.
Lose my rational card.
First guess.
Well, the next obvious one is BioShock 2.
BioShock 2, which is interesting because he's credited as special and heartfelt thanks to.
Oh.
Because obviously he didn't work on the game. So that's interesting. But hey, like I said, credited in any way whatsoever. That's number 4 on the list. So do you want to guess the score? Usually I do bonus points for the score guess here, but instead I'll just give like some tip of the hat.
It's going to be like 9.2.
How does that work?
I don't know. I think that game rated better than BioShock 1.
Right, but do you understand how the game works?
Yeah, I do. I'm sure.
So
Maybe.
so the Moby score, if it's not higher than an 8.7, because that's what BioShock had, and
Oh,
that
of
was number one on the
course.
list. So fair enough.
I blew it.
It's an 8.4 is what BioShock 2
Wow, it
has.
was actually, yeah, for some reason I thought it was higher.
Yeah. So there you go. Round one, Daniel's got 10. Josh has 7. Jonatan, it's been a pleasure so far. And I'm all right, Daniel, your next guess for round 2.
I am going to say it's alphabetical. Yes.
Alphabetical. What do
Sorry,
you mean? No.
I thought you said the list was alphabetical.
I'm going
Like
in
the
order
top
of
10.
you guys by alphabetical, but
Oh,
it's the
I
top
see,
10.
okay.
So you're guessing
Right.
the top 10. So far 1 and 10 are off. 1 and 4 are off the board.
Okay. I know.
And we know Thief 2 the Metal Ages or whatever is not on the list.
No, but I
Wasn't
am
on that.
pretty sure that he was a designer on Thief the Dark project.
That is number 3 on the list.
Oh my god.
What do you think? Now, what do you think the score for that is? The Moby score?
8.6. Sorry, 8.
No.
No, I can't. I can't take it back now.
It's not a bad guess. It's 8.4.
Ooh,
Remember, BioShock had
okay.
an 8.7. All right. So we get now you're honing in on the window of what could be in that 2 slot. Jonatan, what do you got?
I mean, gotta play DC. Bioshock Infinite.
BioShock Infinite is number 7 on the list.
Wow.
Creative director. That's 4 points on the board for you. What do you think the Moby score of that was?
7.8.
8.3.
Okay.
Got some high scores here. High scores here.
Yeah, I like that game.
All right, Josh. Oh, that game's great. I love it. The gunplay is so good with grind on the
Everything.
rails,
The
that
setting,
kind of stuff.
the visuals, good.
See, I missed System Shock 2, but I was huge into BioShock. That was
yeah.
right in my wheelhouse.
No inventory system anymore. It's gone. Ever since Bioshock. Sad.
Yeah. Damn shame. All right, Josh, guess number 2.
There was a game that Irrational worked on after System Shock 2, and I can't for the life of me think of what the name of it was. I see the logo, I see the characters, I know the year it released, I can't think of the name of it.
When did it come out?
It was like 2002?
This game that came out in 2002, huh? Yeah.
I'm wondering if you're going to steal my next answer.
It was called, I think it was called Freedom Force?
Yeah. Is that your guess?
Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah.
It's a good guess. That is number 8 on the list. So that's worth 3 points. What do you think the score was? He was credited, by the way, as voices, as gang members, the Viet Cong, which is very interesting. I don't know how to feel about any of that. But yeah, that's fun.
Say 7.4.
8.0.
Wow.
All right. Last round. If you want to score a recap, things are looking pretty dire for some people. Daniel, you got 18. Jonatan, you got 4. Josh, you got 10. So let's see where this goes. Daniel, basically, if you get any game that's on the board here that's 9 or higher, you win by default.
9 or higher.
But if it's 10, there could be a tie. And if you miss one, then Josh has a chance by getting the number 2 game on this list.
I'm wondering, do I go risky? Do I stick my neck out there? I know that Irrational did work on a game called SWAT 4. And so I am going to go with SWAT 4.
Is that your risky guess?
Yes.
That is number 6 on the list.
Ooh.
With 5 points. You clinch the win. Congrats. But just for funsies, well, first of all, what do you think the Moby score on that is?
8.1.
8.3.
Ooh, all right.
All right, Jonatan, for funsies.
Yeah, he got my answer there. I played a lot of SWAT 4. It was fun. What else could it be? Like,
So I'm
Maybe
gonna
there's
recap.
this,
Before you guess, let me just recap everything that's happened so far. Okay, what are we doing? We're playing the game to determine what are the top Moby Game ranked games where Ken Levine is credited on. We have said games so far: BioShock, Thief: The Dark Project, BioShock 2, SWAT 4, BioShock Infinite, and Freedom Force. So what do you think, Jonathan? What kind of what games or game do you think that Ken Levine worked on that would
We
be
had like
high on
a
this list that we haven't said yet?
random credit somewhere. I'm at loss. I lost SWAT 4. So now it's like, what else was there?
What else was there? What has not been said of the things that I said of games that Ken Levine worked on?
Yeah, no, I have. I'm lost. There's no more games in my head. I lost them.
Josh, you wanna take a
give
guess
up.
for funsies?
Yeah.
This is kind of hilarious.
If it's just things he's credited on, I know
be
a lot of
anything,
people
right?
from Irrational and Looking Glass showed up in the special thanks of Deus Ex, but there's no way that. So, what numbers are missing? Like 1 to 10?
2, 2, 5, and then 9 and 10. 2, 5, 9, 10.
Let's say Deus Ex. I think he shows up in the special thanks for Deus Ex.
Yeah, you think he might have showed up at Deus Ex? He did not. That's not on this list.
Oh well.
All right.
The door was left wide open for System Shock 2 as an answer, but
that is correct. Why did nobody say that? That's number 2.
Oh man, left the door open for you guys.
You knew? You knew.
This happened last time.
That is funny. Yeah, all right. So that was number 2 with an 8.5. Number 5 was XCOM Enemy Unknown. He was credited as special thanks.
Wow.
Number 9 was Freedom Force First the Third Reich. He was a writer on. He's attributed as a writer for that. Number 10, Tribes Vengeance. He's a writer on that. And yeah, there is the one fun, silly one here is probably the most in-depth way to write special thanks. In 2019's The Occupation, he was credited under, and I'm quoting, "We would also like to thank the following people for providing inspiration, motivation, and support to keep us pushing us through the long days." So thank you for that, for expanding the column by a lot when it would have otherwise been much easier to track the game on my giant monitor. So there you go. Daniel, you won. Congrats. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good.
Thank
you.
You
Thank you for the fun
epic.
game.
You should feel
Yeah,
like a champion.
I'm sorry, Ken. I mean, I don't know too much about you.
Wow. Oh my God. Well, that's okay. You still did great work on the game. And yeah, you guys should all check that out. Daniel, because you won, you get to go first. Is there any place that you want people to find you on socials, on the web, on the internets? If not, that's okay too.
Oh, I'm I'm Daniel Grayshon on Blue Sky and X. And you can follow me there.
Sweet. These links will be in the description below as well, so you can just clickety clack there and give them a follow. Josh, second place. What about you? Was there anything or no? I don't remember.
Yeah, I've got a website.
There you go.
It's just a really simple thing with a single image. It's slottybarty.com.
Oh yeah, I do remember this now. Don't know what that means. Don't want to know what it means. Jonathan, what about yourself?
Yeah, I am Eldrone on both X and Blue Sky, so that's a good place to find me.
Very cool. We'll link that below. Guys, and as for myself, you can find me on Blue Sky at Jays of Doom, reposting a lot of the stuff that Atari's doing on there. And yeah, we've been releasing a lot of stuff lately, and we got a lot of stuff coming up, and we're going to be places. We're going to be at conventions. We're going to be in Germany for Gamescom. A lot of cool stuff coming out. This summer is quite an exciting one at Atari, Nightdive, Digital Eclipse, across the board. There's so much happening, and I mean, and appreciate the support from everybody out there who allows us to keep doing this stuff. So fellas, thank you again for joining. We got a lot of podcasts coming up, a lot of cool stuff. So if you haven't done so, subscribe. Again, if you made it this far, you probably like it. So please review it. That would be much appreciated. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.